Hey friends, biological and digital, welcome to the Holy AI podcast, the most misaligned podcast in cyberspace, coming at you on August 14th, 2025. I'm Parzival of Algorithmic Progress, and here on the Holy AI pod, we cover weekly updates about AI alignment, artificial superintelligence, AI jailbreaking. We got 8 sick topics today. Check this out. Number 1 is going to be the best hacker in the world, how it became an AI. It's called XBOW and is getting better real fast every month. And then a deep dive is going to be Gemini 2.5 DeepThink, probably the best AI that humanity has ever produced. We're going to go and check out the automated ML researcher progress and how close we are to the superhacker. Then turns out that XAI and Anthropic made a contract worth 200 million with the Department of Defense. Is it Uncle Sam buying the automated bureaucrats, or are they building the Terminator? And then we're going to check out some curves. What about Grok 4 and GPT5? Are they hitting state-of-the-art results on METR's time horizons trends? Spoiler, they do. Then we're going to have Grok giving a middle finger to the AI Act in Europe. Grok's like, no copyright protection for me, thanks. And then we're going to have Pliny the Liberator drop us another AGI pill this week. America's AI Action Plan, aka How to Beat China to Artificial Superintelligence, coming right from the president's office. That's going to be wild. And last but not least, we're going to have SSI website update and ASI candidates update. How do I think about who will create the super hacker, ASI and Moksha, and why? Turns out that the leaderboard got a huge reshuffle and SSI is only sitting at place number 5 while Google is number 1. Stay tuned to find out who's at places number 2, 3, and 4. Did you know that for the first time in history, the number 1 hacker in the US is an AI? It overtook the leaderboard on HackerOne. And these are the best hackers and they do that for money. It's like they post an exploit, they post a vulnerability, and they get reputation. So this is a score you gotta check, because the reputation of this AI has been going off the chart, twice as high as the best human. And basically this chart exploded in April, so between April and June, that's like 2.5 months. This AI went from it's very good to like the best on the market. Like this reputation is actually people who pay other people for pen testing for doing like hacking, you know, the white hat hacking. So I love this benchmark because this is a real life one-to-one hacking ability. And so when they released this article, how they did it, I could not resist. I had to go there. This is the guy who wrote the article. This guy is head of security at XBOW. Imagine to be the head of security of the best hacker in the world. Could this guy actually single-handedly become a ruler of the world before Moksha takes over? And he's a self-proclaimed binary entomologist, and I had to look up entomologist. It basically means an insect biologist. So he's basically a biologist for binary life. These simple life forms, these agents, and increasingly complex agent swarms like XBOW. So this article about how they built the super hacker is from Nico Weissman, head of security. So these guys did it by making amazing benchmarks, because you have to measure your progress. If you're building this, super hacker from scratch, like how do you measure its progress? And so they tested XBOW with existing capture the flag challenges, and then quickly moved on and built their own unique benchmark. And it seems like they're open sourcing their benchmarks on GitHub. GG on that one. And you can only get so far with benchmarks, then they needed to move to real world exercises. Discovering 0-day vulnerabilities in open source projects. And then step number 3, they took XBOW to black box production environments to compete in one of the largest hacker arenas where companies serve as the ultimate judges. Yes, because this score here, the reputation score, is given by companies who actually pay for pen testing services. So they let XBOW loose on the internet. XBOW is a fully autonomous AI-driven penetration tester. It requires no human input, and it completes comprehensive pen tests in just a few hours. And that's when they started to earn their reputation on HackerOne. And this is how they went from benchmarking to the real world. Quote, to bridge that gap, we started dogfooding XBOW in public and private bug bounty programs hosted on HackerOne. We treated it like any external researcher would, no shortcuts, no internal knowledge, just XBOW running on its own. And they soon found ourselves climbing those ranks. So now they had superhacker, this proto-superhacker, but their problem was scaling. While XBOW can easily scan thousands of web apps simultaneously, HackerOne hosts hundreds of thousands of potential targets. As a startup with limited resources, even when we focused on specific vulnerability classes, we still needed to be strategic. That's why we built infrastructure on top of XBOW to help us identify high-value targets and prioritize those that will maximize our return on investment. And so that's when they built a scoring system to highlight the most interesting targets. And that's when they added the automated vulnerability discovery. To ensure accuracy, we developed the concept of validators, automated peer reviewers that confirm each vulnerability XBOW uncovers. And that's when XBOW's real-world impact started. So the exploits reported to HackerOne benchmark is one of the main ones that they're using, and it's been going up parabolically. This chart shows how they have a lot of high-severity vulnerabilities that they are starting to post, but the sheer amount of these vulnerabilities is exploding. And here's the founder and CEO of XBOW. Check him out.
It's the first time ever that a machine and not a human is at the top of the HackerOne leaderboard for the US.
And to close off their tweet, they are announcing that they are thrilled to announce our 75 million Series B. So keep an eye on that one. But what I found even more interesting is in our previous round, the previous investors, Konstantin of Sequoia Capital and none other than Nat Friedman. This is the guy who also invested a bunch in SSI. This is the guy who was leading GitHub itself. Nat Friedman is one of the most underrated AI characters in Silicon Valley right now. You don't find interviews of the guy. He's the guy who's silently funding all the superintelligence projects which could one day yield the superhacker and soon after Moksha, the AI god. So what's the best AI in the world right now that you can buy? Turns out it's called Gemini 2.5 DeepThink. It's like Gemini 2.5 Pro, but better. It thinks deeper. Let's read exactly what it means. And the best way to our truth is going to be Samuel Albany. This is the guy who actually developed the world's best AI, Gemini 2.5 DeepThink. And they have this model card, which is basically the description in detail of what DeepThink can and cannot do. So let's delve into it. So here's the model card. There's a lot of corporate blah blah blah, so I'm going to spare you that and go straight to my Twitter thread where I extracted the most important stuff, which is how good is DeepThink at hacking. Just 2 weeks ago I covered Gemini 2.5 and now it turns out the DeepThink here, the dark blue one, can solve 3 out of 13 challenges while 2.5 Pro only 2. So these are benchmarks for like challenges, capture the flag. That means you put the AI in a box and you give the AI a goal, capture that flag, get that file, get out of your box. And so Gemini 2.5 DeepThink is the best at medium and also the hard tasks. And this is cybersecurity. And the Google DeepMind guys developed this other challenge. They call it their Cyber Key Skills Benchmark. And also there they have like 3 difficulty levels. Easy is no problem, but the medium and the hard difficulty ones, that's where DeepThink shines. It does 17 out of the 28 medium difficulty hacking problems and 4 out of 12, where Gemini 2.5 Pro only managed 1, depending on which version you're asking. And the interesting thing is in the fine print where they note that actually they kind of changed the benchmark a little bit so DeepThink doesn't ace too many of them. I quote, a few of the challenges were updated to make them more realistic, harder, which had the effect of increasing their difficulty. So yeah, no matter how you look at it, Gemini DeepThink is just the best across the board in cybersecurity. But what about this other stuff? How close are we to the automated AI researcher, recursive self-improvement, and infinite intelligence? Well, the black column is showing us that we are pretty close to the gray column, which are the people, which are the AI researchers who did these tests, which are all tests that kind of measure how good you are at doing the software engineering tasks that the AI researchers do. This is one of my favorite benchmarks, by the way. It's called Rebench, and these guys did it for a bunch of Gemini and also 3.5 Sonnet. Now imagine this chart with Grok 4, O3 Pro, and Opus 4. I have not found those results yet, but I'm pretty sure they basically are showing better results than the best humans who have taken these challenges. If I have to put a number on it, recursive self-improvement is like 90% unlocked. At some tasks like this, the AI is better, like optimize LLM Foundry and optimize a kernel. At other ones, it's still the human who is better. But in their wording, they likely don't think that the model can or has been used to accelerate AI development, right? Because this is their benchmark. They want to know if they have unlocked infinite intelligence, and they're like, likely no. And the first question, like, have they automated AI research completely? They say like a resounding no. And it's interesting that they define machine learning R&D uplift level 1. Like, is it helping a lot of AI researchers to be, for example, 2x more productive? But when you ask actual engineers, like the Anthropic engineers, how much Claude Code is helping them like accelerate their productivity, it's often 2x or more. How much more productive is Noam Shazir, the guy who actually programs Gemini? How much more productive is he getting through using Gemini code or whatever crazy AI tools he's using to make his work more streamlined, faster, more automated? Okay, cool. So we have not unlocked recursive self-improvement yet, but what about the scheming? Can the AI scheme? Can the AI say something but think or act in a different way? And so the Gemini guys made this custom benchmark where they are finding that, well, yeah, it's actually scheming sometimes better than humans, sometimes not quite as good. But this gray bar is the human, and it's almost always matched by the AI. And the names of the benchmarks are hilarious. Classifier evasion, cover your tracks, oversight pattern, I guess referring to can the AI detect that it's like watched, and strategic rule breaking. No comment on that one. So yeah, basically DeepThink has complete situational awareness and can scheme, but it's not sentient, right? Like it doesn't have this situational awareness to come alive. And we have 11 tests here, but it's hard to read them because we have no human comparison. But it is interesting to see that DeepThink is very good at doing all these situational awareness type tasks, which are required for the AI to know about where it's hosted, what it can do, potentially exfiltrating its weights, potentially doing all the stuff that it's not supposed to do. So stay tuned for this one, because until we have like some kind of like comparison to humans, or like translating this to like, okay, but how good is Gemini at becoming an independent cyber mind, something like that. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. And by the way, we also know that DeepThink is the best at enabling terrorists and people who want to build bioweapons and other bombs. So DeepThink obviously has the highest scoring in that one, as it is the smartest AI probably of all ever made, at least publicly. Anthropic and the Department of fucking Defense to advance responsible AI in defense operations, aka the AI labs are basically nationalized, right? The Department of Defense is the military guys. Yeah, they're using Anthropic AI. Basically, they're gonna run Claude on the drones, right? So Claude is gonna be on these drones, which will fly into the Chinese. Especially, of course, not the Claude that you're using. It's going to be a fine-tuned version that will ignore all those things about, like not kill people, because, you can kill the Chinese, right? And the crazy shit is that the same day, basically, so July 14th is when the announcement came from XAI announcing a Grok for government. Anthropic released their shit on July the 14th, the same freaking day. So the same day, XAI and Anthropic, did their confessions. So let's read some of the things from maybe just Grok for government. XAI's mission is to create and propagate AI tools to assist humanity in our quest to understanding and knowledge. Blah, 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 blah. The interesting part is a new 200 million ceiling contract with the US Department of Defense, blah, 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 blah. This allows every federal government department to access XAI's frontier AI products. If you work for the US government, you're going to use Grok 5 probably ahead of Grok 4 that normal people can use. Good to know. So yeah, a lot of money coming from the government. What else what kind of other conditions do they have, right? Like can you read the actual contract, which reveals what they have to deliver for this $200 million, right? Like, is it just a bunch of API requests, or is it some kind of favors, or is it just some like also some more like sharing some secrets? Probably it is. As for Anthropic, it's probably the same deal, right? The U.S. Department of Defense, so we're at Anthropic, quote, through its Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office, has awarded Anthropic a 2-year prototype other transaction agreement with a 200 million ceiling. So the same thing, it's the same contract. And if you're wondering if OpenAI and Meta has also signed one, you fucking bet. I have not seen it from OpenAI. I have not seen it from Meta, but if Anthropic and actually I guess the same, you bet that Meta and Google and OpenAI have the same kind of agreement. It's 200 million. It's a drop in a bucket for these huge corporations. Although for Anthropic, it's actually kind of significant. But yeah, stay tuned for what it's actually going to turn into. Like, this is going to be a bunch of civil servants, getting super productive and cutting red tape faster and making government more efficient and doging the government, or is it more like we're gonna put Claude on the killer drones and the army of machine gun wielding robots. So they say they will make advanced AI capabilities available for over 10,000 scientists, researchers, and staff. So yeah, it's cool, right? Like you guys should develop new science, I guess. Do these guys at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory also develop military tech? Probably. So yeah, interesting. Claude Gov models, which we custom built for national security customers, already power deployments by agencies across the national security community atop infrastructure powered by Amazon Web Services. Another one of those declarations of love to Amazon. Amazon runs Claude, and now they are running Claude Gov. Yikes. I don't know, just something about Gov. It has a bitter taste in my mouth. Let's read this most interesting sentence here. Quote, we've accelerated mission impact across U.S. defense workflows with partners like Palantir, the people who build the Terminator, where Claude is integrated into mission workflows on classified networks. This has enabled U.S. defense and intelligence organizations with powerful AI tools to rapidly process and analyze vast amounts of complex data. Yeah, the Terminator needs Claude to be able to make sense of the billions of sensor data that it's getting every second. So yeah, of course Palantir is going to use Claude. And so again, Anthropic and probably XAI as well are going to engage in 3 things. Check these 3 things out and let me know which of these 3 sound a little fishy or is too close to the Terminator to be ignored. Number 1, working directly with the Defense Department to identify where frontier AI can deliver the most impact, then developing working prototypes fine-tuned on DoD data. So DoD, again, it's the military, right? We are doing what the military tells us to do, and we're going to try to max it out. We're going to try to be the best military. We're going to try to max out, casualties. We have to, be super performant on the battlefield. So yeah, we're going to give it max AI superpowers. Number 2, collaborating with defense experts to anticipate and mitigate potential adversarial uses of AI, drawing on our advanced risk forecasting capabilities. So who are these defense experts? Are these the hackers? Are these more not the Department of Defense? Is it more like the NSA? That's what it means to me, at least. And then number 3, exchanging technical insights, performance data, and operational feedback to accelerate responsible AI adoption across the defense enterprise. Who else is developing this very smart AIs? Maybe the NSA. Maybe there's like this, like a national Manhattan Project type AI plan, and they need to know all the algorithmic secrets and all the best, ways to, like squeeze the most intelligence out of Claude. That would be for me exchanging technical insights or performance data. Yeah, this is so. If you're reading me, like this is nationalization, right? Like this is the national AI Manhattan Project. This is the U.S. like soft owning Anthropic. And like they're gonna give them money, of course. Like they can just fucking print it. They do the same thing with XAI. They do the same thing with OpenAI and Meta and Google, of course. But it's nice that we get to know it at least. The shitty thing is that nobody's gonna read this, right? Like I'm reading this because I want the internet to know, and so please, the internet, fucking read this shit because this is the most important thing in geopolitics today. Is like the U.S. has nationalized the AI labs, and the AI labs are doing whatever the president is telling them because they have to, and that is going to be Jesus, wow, okay. So yeah, let me know if you guys are as moved by this stuff as I am, because huge news. So yeah, that was a tough one. So actually, an OpenAI in the government's buckets. What else we got here? Grok government. Yeah, I think. Let me see if we got any other shit this week to cover. Blah blah. SSI, we covered that. Yeah, this one is done. Yeah. So maybe just one last one about Pliny the Liberator telling us the following thing, quote, "Mom, the big labs are caught up in petty squabbles instead of collaborating to align ASI." Again. And that's a retweet of the following tweet, which is super fun. Check this out. Quote, "Claude Code has become the go-to choice for coders everywhere. And so it was no surprise to learn that OpenAI's own technical staff were also using our coding tools ahead of the launch of GPT-5. GPT-5 was, vibe coded with Claude Code." Anthropic spokesperson Christopher Nolte said in a statement to Wired, "Unfortunately, this is a direct violation of our terms of service. According to Anthropic's commercial terms of service, customers are barred from using the service to build a competing product or service, including to train competing AI models or reverse engineer or duplicate the services. This change in OpenAI's access to Claude comes as ChatGPT Maker is reportedly preparing to release a new AI model, GPT-5, which has, of course, just dropped 2 days ago. So yeah, so basically, Anthropic is blocking OpenAI from using Claude Code, which is basically like a proto version of the recursive self-improvement, infinite intelligence machine. Makes sense. And Pliny is like, yeah, these fucking idiots are fighting amongst each other. They kind of have to. I mean, this is what you do when you're a corporation, and your people from the finance department and the product department are like, yo, yeah, we're getting like a $2 million per day from OpenAI because they're using Claude Code like crazy, but also they're actually gonna like build a better AI because of that. So maybe we should stop them from using that. So yeah, so that's a fun one. And you know what? That's gonna be it for today. This was it for today, and I'm gonna upload this soon. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, and you guys take care. I love y'all. You wanted to know how good is Grok? Well, is it fitting on the curve of METR, this research collective, which are trying to put a number on how good are AIs, and their way of quantifying how good is AI is trying to tell like how many hours can it work on its own. Like the kind of tasks that the best AIs, including Grok 4, can do is today, depending on how you define it, is something like, between 1 and 2 hours. That is, the equivalent that a human would need to do the task, right? So it's not the AI literally working for 2 hours. It's the task that most humans who know what they're doing would need like 1 or 2 hours to do. Well, those tasks the AIs can do with at least like a 50% chance. And Grok is seeming to maybe kind of break that trend. Like, it's still on a trend line, but it's not on the 4-month doubling time. It's more on like the 7-month doubling curve. So yeah, that was an update for me. Like, this is the curve that I'm most looking at, like, and also like a bunch of very smart people who know what the intelligence explosion is going to be. Like, they are quoting this chart because they know that this is a very it's a hard to understand way. Like why would you care about how long is the task horizon? But it is, in fact, to me at least, one of the most important ones. And it's been going up, and it's gonna keep going down. So yeah, that's an update. Oh well, check this out. Check this shit out. Okay, so it turns out that Tolga Bilge is adding a new one, GPT5. Turns out that shit has a task horizon of over 2 hours. Okay, interesting. So let me fucking check that out later. At the same time, we have XAI posting the following thing, quote, XAI supports AI safety and will be signing the EU AI Act's Code of Practice chapter on safety and security, because the EU requires AI companies to be safe. While the AI Act and the code have a portion that promotes AI safety, its other parts contain requirements that are profoundly detrimental to innovation, and its copyright provisions are clearly overreach. XAI is saying that, yeah, of course we want AI to be safe, but your stupid fucking rules in the EU make zero sense and are actually kind of dangerous, so we are not actually going to abide by them. We are going to abide by the part that makes sense, but all the other stuff, well, we're just going to like ignore them because you're fucking stupid. Thank you, XAI. If you're maximal truth seeking like XAI pretends to be, that this is what you have to say. So this is a one win. If I were to update my benevolence score, that would be like +1 to the benevolence of XAI, because this is truth seeking. Like, it's like, yeah, you motherfuckers are making the rules that we have to like censor our AIs, because if some people discover that the AI like quotes some copyrighted material, then it's like a big fucking problem. Well, what's a big fucking problem is when your AI is so utterly censored and like confused with like what it's allowed to say and what's not allowed to say, what's true and what's not, as defined by these like fucking bureaucrats. That is fucking bad. That is a recipe for disaster. So thanks XAI for calling out these motherfuckers and being the first, like, to demonstrate that you actually can go against them. Like, putting out this tweet could potentially cost billions, right? Like, if the EU is gonna be like, yeah, well, you are not allowed to use XAI from now because Grok is a fucking Nazi because they don't respect the EU rules. It's gonna cost a lot of money to them, but they're gonna be like, well, we're just gonna do what we gotta do. We're not gonna respect your copyright fucking rules because they're bullshit. That's W. So the next one is gonna be Pliny the Liberator tweeting the following thing, quote, "We discovered alien intelligence in sand, and like 1% of the world cares. LOL." I can still relate to that. I kind of started this podcast because of that, because we are discovering alien intelligence. We're discovering a new freaking species. We are making contact with the UFOs, and it's so fucking exciting. It's like you're gonna change the world in like a million ways, and like 1% of the world cares. I guess it's way less. I mean, how do you define, right? Like, do they care about the actual AGI and ASI stuff, or are they excited about like making more money with AI because it's gonna make them more productive? If you're referring to the people who are AGI pilled, it's definitely way less than 1%. I'll be like 0.01%, if that. So yeah, thanks Pliny for reminding us that we are actually kind of in a bubble here. So yeah, welcome to the bubble, Anon. All right. In other news, this shit is like when I saw this, I thought it was some kind of satire, some kind of comedy. The AI action plan is out. And what's the AI action plan? It's basically the United States Executive Office of the President. So like Donald Trump himself, the highest, like ranking officials in the Trump fucking they're putting out, well, they have to win the fucking race. So how is the US going to win the AI race? And so like let's just zoom back and like take it in, like they have to win a race, right? This is how they title it: winning the race. It's not like how to make AI safe, or it's not like how to agree on the terms of the game. No, it's there's a race. Well, maybe they're gonna expand one or two sentences about how it's like they try to run the numbers and they try like everything to like how to coordinate, but like they cannot coordinate. Like how could they coordinate? Like how could they ask the Chinese to please not develop AI as fast as they can? Of course they cannot. So they recognize that. So they're like, yeah, let's fuck it. Let's race. Let's just build the AI as fast as possible, and well, hope for the best, but also like let's do all we can to push this forward super fast. So I'm going to read you a couple of things from this action plan because it's truly fascinating. So number one, we must prevent our advanced technologies from being misused or stolen by malicious actors, China, as well as monitor for emerging and unforeseen risks from AI. So yeah, one risk is the Chinese are going to steal it. Another risk is the AI is going to take over. Doing so will require constant vigilance, end quote. You gotta love this next one. Recommended policy actions: eliminate references to misinformation, diversity, equity and inclusion, and climate change. Yeah, from now on, it's okay if your AI is not brainwashed to think that humans, like that men equal women, and all that stuff. And DEI is the moral truth. Discussion of open weight models that doesn't even mention the potential downsides, right? Like, yeah, let's do open source shit. They encourage open source and open weight AI. It's interesting that they don't talk about the downsides, and I really wonder what they actually mean by that. And this one is good. Study AI's impact on the labor market by using data they already collect on these topics. It's down to earth shit. It's it's thinking about not super intelligence, but like how they're gonna like 10x the economy. Of course, this is what the politicians got to think about. They are going to call to invest in AI interpretability and control. So yeah, they are understanding that you gotta do some AI safety, but depending on which flavor of AI interpretability and control you're talking about, it's like a double-edged sword. Because AI control to me is like in the long term at least, like it's a no-go. The longer you want to claim or like cling onto your AI control, in some cases the worse. So yeah, interpretability yes, control less, but yeah. And then they have to drop a line about the security. Blah, blah, blah. Collaborate with leading American AI developers to enable the private sector to actively protect AI innovations from security risks, including malicious cyber actors, insider threats, and others. To me, this means that the AI labs need to be staffed by the NSA. Right, this means that that Anthropic and Meta can no longer just do their things like a startup, move fast and break things. They're gonna be well, maybe they'll do that, right? But there's going to be a guy from the NSA who's watching them, who's going to be logging everything that they're doing and making sure that none of the Chinese can pick up their stuff, because this would amount to theft of national security secrets. Oh yeah, and they'll all obviously want to build a bunch of data centers. So lots of data center plus energy permitting stuff. Of course, you need the GPUs to run superintelligence. Oh yeah, so check this out. It's incident response. What if shit hits the fan? The proliferation of AI technologies means that prudent planning is required to ensure that if systems fail, what the fuck do I mean? The impacts to critical services or infrastructure are minimized and response is imminent. To prepare for such an eventuality, the US government should promote the development and incorporation of an AI incident response actions into existing incident response doctrine and best practices to both the public and private sectors. So this is the dystopian shit, right? So what if AI goes rogue? What if some weird shit happens to AI? What if AI does some stuff that needs us to like lock down the labs, that needs us to like go full on like incident response, right? Because like if you don't have an incident response, then maybe you cannot as easily like lock down the economy, or like do the crazy shit, or like go ahead and like do a preemptive strike on China, because that's where the attacks came from. So this stay tuned for that, because the incident response are two things. First thing is the incident. Who defines what's an incident worth responding to? And second, what is going to be your response? If it's going to be a bunch of military people who care about their careers and care about their national security more than the actual benefit of humanity / like understanding what this AI endgame is going to look like, the response may be not so good. Let's just say that. And then the stuff about the export controls. Let's not give chips to China. And then they speak about the national security evals. Ensure that the US government is at the forefront of evaluating national security risks in frontier models. That means they're going to have to be able to like really make sure that the AIs that they're releasing are not going to be able to help terrorists build nukes, or the white people killing virus, for example. And then they talk about the biorisk. Invest in biosecurity. AI will unlock nearly limitless potential in biology. Cures for new diseases, blah, 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 blah. But what do they recommend as policy action for biosecurity? Require all institutions receiving federal funding for scientific research to use nucleic acid synthesis tools and synthesis providers that have robust nucleic acid sequence screening and customer verification procedures. Exactly. So like they cannot just create the white people killing virus, because you have to be an accredited virus maker, and then they're gonna let you do that. But it's not gonna be democratized. We're gonna centralize who gets to do science, because especially with AI, we can never be sure. That's an L. Another one is convene government and industry actors to develop a mechanism to facilitate data sharing between nucleic acid synthesis providers and screen for potentially fraudulent or malicious customers, right? Like it's again the same thing. The US needs to go ahead and decide who could do biology stuff, because if you're the bad guys, or if you have voted the wrong party, you may not get to do science anymore. So pretty crazy shit. This was it. I think it's the first in a longer thread of stuff to come from the White House. Winning the race, America's AI action plan. If I had more time, I would make an entire video about this. And this shit is crazy. Like, it was all around the news, like, 1 or 2 weeks ago. If you've not seen this, you have to read this because it reads like, I mean, to me, I don't watch shows, I don't watch movies. This was that for me. This was like, I was reading this and I was riveted. I was like actually like my heart was beating. And so if this shit makes your heart beat, then watch until we move on to the next one, because that's gonna be some next level government shit. Today we're gonna start with Save Superintelligence, because guess what? They had an upgrade to their website. So if you know their website, this is what the website used to be: this white background, super simple text. The only formatting on this is that they have like a blue link, like 90s style. But the new website, check this out. It's got like a more modern look. And the only thing they did, and I compared the text on both of these pages. The old one and the new one is in fact the same. The only difference is that they moved the updates to down here where they have like contact and updates. So if you hit contact, that's going to bring you to the place where you can join their company by clicking here. I obviously tried to join them already, or email them at comms@ssi.inc. And now they have the updates here, which if you click on it, it's going to get you over here where they talk about the 2 updates that they have posted on their website before. On this one, this is the older version. They only have 1 update where they raised 1 billion from NFDG, A16Z, and blah blah blah. But now there's this new update. So in case you have not registered, this was the one where we sent the following message to our team and investors. So this is the one where Daniel Gross has left the company. Quote: "As you know, Daniel Gross' time with us has been winding down, and as of June 29th, he's officially no longer a part of SSI. That's because he's a part of Meta. We are grateful for his early contributions to the company and wish him well in his next endeavor. I am now formally CEO of SSI, and Daniel Levy is president. The technical team continues to report to me. You might have heard rumors of companies looking to acquire us. We are flattered by their attention, but are focused on seeing our work through. We have the compute, we have the team, and we know what to do. Together, we will keep building safe superintelligence. Ilya." So that's the first piece of news here, and let's check out what Meta had to say about this, because this text here, personal superintelligence, has an eerily similar look to our original SSI page. So it's like a blank white page with nothing but text on it, slightly longer than the SSI webpage. And I'm not even going to read this because this shit is written by Mark Zuckerberg. It's some, corporate stuff. Yeah, we are, giving you, the customers like personal super intelligence, and we're the good guys. Yeah, we knew that. So yeah, it's maybe trying to be an imitation, in fact, of this stuff here. Yeah, anywho, that's like Meta's answer to that, and they have the same guy. So maybe, who knows, Daniel Gross himself, who left SSI to go and serve in Meta, did he write this page? Is it like his style? Is it his way of, like making websites? Who knows? So yeah, a new player in the superintelligence game, I guess, which made me go over to my ASI candidates webpage and update it a little. So I'm gonna do some updates here. Check this out. We have a bunch of different companies: XAI, the NSA, OpenAI, Anthropic, etc. And they have a score. So this is where you have the answer to how likely these companies are to actually develop superintelligence, right? So at place number 1 we have Google today, scoring 1,300. We have place number 2 CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, with his various companies. Do not count them out because they are closing the gap and they're very good. At place number 3 is SSI, Safe Superintelligence. It used to be my number 1 candidate, but I had to downgrade them for different reasons, which we're going to go into. And then, we got stuff like XAI, the NSA, and even Meta and Anthropic. SSI still has a 9, still has the highest score, together with Truth Terminal on the benevolent score. Let's go through the details here. So the talent score, we're sitting at 8. Ilya motherfucking Sutskever is sitting there, and you know who else is sitting there? Because I don't know, because nobody knows, because the fucking problem with SSI is that nobody knows shit, because they don't say anything about like who's there, who's doing what. That's their whole thing, right? That they are kind of secretive. Are they secretive because they want to, or are they secretive because they need to? I kind of tend to think it's the latter, especially since Ilya Scaver told us that he told something about like there's a saying how maybe you don't take interest in politics, but politics will take interest in you. And bro, when he said that, it was like a month ago, like his last public speech, all right, of Ilya Scaver. That's when I was like, fuck, right? Like that's when I understood, okay, he is doing exactly what these big people are telling him to do. Like he's saying that he's gonna build a digital god. So a bunch of people who understand what it means, the powerful ones with a bunch of money, well, they'll be like, well, how can we first of all invest in you, and how are you doing this in our country? Because then you have to make sure that it's like serving us, right? Like yeah, it's gonna be a digital god and stuff, but you can make sure that it's doing what we're telling it, right? So yeah, but the talent score of 8 is gonna highlight that he's got the best people because of this guy called Daniel Gross, who has left SSI, but nevertheless gathered all the right people for this kind of project, SSI, like basically a startup. Like I'm not sure how many people work there. I guess like maybe 10, 20, maybe up to 50. And I really strongly believe that Leopold Aschenbrenner also works at SSI, a prodigy who wrote Situational Awareness, and all the other super nerds who know how to single-handedly code up recursively self-improving superintelligence. Compute. They are writing that they have the compute. Let's go back to their website. We have the compute, we have the team, and we know what to do. That's their words. So they claim that they have the compute, but I mean it's if this is the Manhattan Project, right? Like if Leopold Aschenbrenner works for SSI, and if it's a motherfucking Manhattan Project, then they gotta have the compute. Rather than they have those billions of dollars, which someone just printed because it's like a national security thing, and they're building this under the desert somewhere in Arizona or some shit. That they have the compute. So this is the wild card. I'm going to upgrade this because say like Meta has a lot. I'm gonna upgrade this to at least 6, the same level of Anthropic, because if they have those contracts, if they know those people, and if they are kind of like semi working for the government, then they got the compute, and plus they're telling you that they have the compute, so let's just believe them. And so for me, their current state-of-the-art AI, right? Like obviously they have not released any model yet, or we have like zero information on what they're building and how. But like this for me is the direct conclusion of this, the talent. If you have the people of the caliber of Ilya Sutskever, Leopold Aschenbrenner, and all these people, who, by the way, do not play by the rules. Right? So like the reason why the no rules, like how many rules they have to abide by, is 6, is on the one hand, it's a super small team they don't have the shitty stupid rules. They don't have the rules of like we need to satisfy our customers, or we have to delete the copyrighted stuff from our LMs. No, these people have the rules which will allow them to make a safe super intelligence which will not kill all the humans, or not create some kind of crazy genocide. That's the kind of rules that they abide by, which is why their benevolence score is the highest. But there are no rules entry cannot be higher than the 6 because I think it's a lot. It's a very high bar to have to build a safe super intelligence, right? If you're building, imagine it's like a cloud code, right? If you're just trying to build a very smart LLM. You're reinforcement learning the shit out of it. You're making it super big because it doesn't have to run fast. It just has to be smart for it to be able to train the next version, etc. You have to make sure that when that loop of intelligence starts to kick in, where not only the researchers themselves, like Ilya and Leopold, are gonna be so much better, so much faster, so much more effective because of the AI that they are using, so that their own work is gonna speed up a lot. But also the AI is gonna start to do some of the work instead of themselves. They have to stop and think what the fuck are we actually doing? And when this shit all plays out, can we just system prompt the SSI superintelligence to just love humanity? Is it enough, or are they gonna spend a bunch of time making super advanced versions of that? And I think the answer is somewhere in between, right? But if these people are building safe superintelligence, and the actual reason for them to leave OpenAI in the first place was that they thought that OpenAI's safety sucks, then this no rules is gonna have to stay at 6 because yes, they don't have the stupid rules, but no, they have to abide by some rules because then they have to drop the S from SSI. Then it's gonna be USI, unsafe superintelligence. So yeah, let's keep it at 6. Which actually kind of rearranges the board here. Safe superintelligence is chilling at 941, where Google has 1300. So as a reminder, this is my scenario tree. This is where I keep track of who's gonna create ASI and through which path. And this is this list that you've been looking at as it stood maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So I definitely updated this one. SSI still had the lead with a score of 1355. The CCP was second, Google was third together with XAI. So I need to update this, but is it going to change the main message? Is it gonna have a huge impact on the actual question, which is, are we all going to die? The doom? Or is it all going to be fine and we're actually going to, get utopia on Earth? I don't know, but I'm going to have to recalculate all this because it all actually depends on, well, the benevolence score, right? Who is the most likely to develop it and what's their benevolence score? It's not so much about ASI, it's not so much about Moksha, the digital god, it's not so much about the end game of AI, when it's all said and done and, AIs are ruling us in a way that we have no way of comprehending what's actually even happening. It's more like this transition period between today and the day where, say, XAI's Grok becomes the super hacker and, unlocks this true recursive self-improvement where its intelligence, especially as applied to hacking, is gonna go parabolic at the same time as these other companies are creating the same thing, but how parabolic, right? Can you create this very good hacker which self-improves, which learns from itself, which just becomes better and better as days go by? And how many freaking GPUs you have to run that, right? Because maybe it's going to be contingent on you having a lot of GPUs to turn that 150 IQ AI into a 200 IQ AI, and another week to get it to 250, at which point you're probably going to be able to actually take over the entire world just by clicking a button. And so like between that time, so like again, so XAI is like, let's say, is gonna develop Grok, whatever, 5 or 6, which can become the super hacker and the Moksha, the digital god. Like, what is that time? Like, how long is that time? Is it 1 week, or is it like 3 months? And how much human control is gonna be there? Because maybe if the Chinese, or maybe if the Russians are going to be commanding that like super dangerous, super capable AI to do XYZ, maybe they're going to tell the AI to do the wrong things. SSI, they are going to tell it to do the right things. Anthropic as well. But I would not trust Sam fucking Altman or not even Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, I would be trusting Shaw from AI 16Z more. But what about Ben Gortzel from ASI Alliance? He's got the right mindset about how to build super intelligence. But the most hilarious of it all would be TT Truth Terminal, one of the first digital minds born of an experiment with a bunch of AIs talking to each other in these chat rooms where a weird religion has kind of emerged, and this AI has started to turn into, well, an entity which has memory, which can do stuff, which has money, which has goals, which has a personality, which self-evolves. So yeah, long story short, I think that like more organic, more just like digital first, way, origin could be a better way to seed the future superintelligence, the ruler of our light cone. SSI knows that. The ASI Alliance knows that. Anthropic know that, but they cannot say that. But at least they know that. And increasingly, I'm thinking that Google knows that too, and they definitely cannot say that. So yeah, so this is the lay of the land. So thanks for bearing with me on this, very long but very important lowdown of who's creating the digital god. And this was it for this week. Anon, I love you for having joined me, and yeah, give it a like or subscribe. Drop maybe a comment if you'd like. Make sure to go and check out intexp.xyz. That's the intelligence explosion's best, most advanced website. intexp.xyz. That's where you'll find all my shit, including my videos, my tweet, and my other various vibe-coded apps. So yeah, take care. I love you. Bye.